Okay. All right, guys. This is my setup. Okay, it's Katieonyekere, theauraalchemist, business oracle, magic doula, soul calibration coach. I want to talk to you about what I've really noticed, which is going to help a lot of you guys. It's going to set you free. One quick thing to recognize so that you don't feel so overwhelmed with how much work you need to do on yourself in order to see change. Okay, because there's two different types of change that are going to happen, especially in terms of manifestation, and everything is in terms of manifestation, because you want to change so that you can be the change you want to see, so that you can live the life that you want to live, so that you can be the person that you want to be inside that life, and so that you can contribute what you want to contribute, right? So I want to talk about one thing that I've realized that's really important, because there's two types of manifestation, meaning that right now, there's a field of possibility, or there's a bunch of access around you that you don't need to transform for. You don't need to change any radical beliefs. You literally just need to become resourceful and change your mindset in order to live in the field of possibility, and in order to create with the resources that you already have. And by resources I already have in this instance, I'm talking about the person that you already are right now, already has a capacity that is bigger than what you think, already is operating at a place that can have more than what you think you can have. So a lot of people, once they start to realize that they want to have these big dreams, they want to have this big vision and stuff, they get so focused on the transformation, which is amazing, because that's the other kind of requirements, because there's a lot of resources at your disposal now, and then you're going to get to a point where you reach a cap. You're going to reach a plateau. Okay. And at that plateau, there's a limit to what I can have while I am being this current version of myself, which means that the next level of abundance for me, the next level of possibility is going to require for me to transform, which is not, I'm improved. That's not a one-day thing. It's literally, I am different. I am different, not I think differently, not I see differently, but I am different. Okay. So there are some of you are just there, and transformation is what's required. But all of you already have access to more resources, more abundance, more money, more assets, more benefit, and more supports than you currently think are possible. You just have to change your mindset and learn to look for those possibilities, learn to create them with what you already have and where you already are. Having said that, there's a reason why I changed the way I do things in my new offer and the new way that I work with my clients. And that's because most of my clients are experiencing this. They're already really powerful. They're tapped into their gift, right? Visionary woman, they're trying to monetize their gifts. They're trying to figure out how to get their genius out there, how to communicate it to their clients. And they've been asking for all the stuff that they feel like they're not getting for a long, long time. They've been asking for inspiration. They've been asking for ideas. They've been asking for support and benefits. They've been asking for the money. They've been asking for clients, whatever it is that they're asking for, right? And it's almost like they've created this huge bank. So here's the person. Here she is. And she's been asking, and she's been collecting all this energy, and she's been doing all this work, and she's been unlocking all this stuff. The problem is that because of the way that she's judging herself about it, she hasn't recognized just how much she shifted and just how much she has more access to just from changing her thoughts and beliefs without needing to transform. So she's asked for all this stuff. The universe has responded. And here's the funnel. Here's the funnel of things that she's asked for, right? It's this huge, awesome, amazing funnel. And she's feeling like she needs to do all of this work, and she's focusing on all of these work, and this might be beliefs and strategy. Y'all can't read my writing, right? I should have done this differently. I'm left-handed. Beliefs, strategy, she's doing all these manifestation practices. She's learning all these new freaking techniques. She's doing all these marketing tactics. She's doing whatever. And even in the beliefs, she's trying to go into her inner child. She's trying to go into her childhood. She feels like she's got hundreds of beliefs that she needs to get through in order to have what she wants. So much so that she's a little bit overwhelmed. When in reality, you don't need to worry about all the beliefs that are holding you back. Most likely, there is one little belief, one little tiny kink in the hose. This is a kink. This is a kink in the hose of everything that she's asked for. And all she needs is to get rid of that one belief. And that's why I've changed the way that I do my program. I'm a channel. I'm infinite. I'm like an open faucet. I've been doing what I do for 9 years. There's more than enough of practices and exercises that can radically change your life if you stick with it and apply it and implement it until it changes your life. There's more than enough there. So now, instead of having my students go through all of this program and all of this stuff and do all this work, now we tap into exactly whatever it is that's in the way of getting them exactly where they want to go. So first, we actually tap in to calibrate their vision and get really clear on what it is that they do want. Then we tap in and look at the gap between what the vision is and where they are right now. Now that's where I use my magic and my channeling and all of that stuff to help you figure out where that gap is. We look at the gap in the mindset. We look at the gap in the beliefs. We look at the gap in the energy. And then from there, I make a custom plan for you. And instead of you having to go through, frankly, a couple years worth of channeling and awesome jewels and insight and teachings, I am able to say, based off of where you are and where you want to go right now, this is your next step. This is the one belief we need to work on. And then I help you with that until it gets the fuck out of your way so that you can have whatever you want to get to the next step. And if this is kind of the build off from what's been coming through and what I've been dropping about alignment, which by the way, used to be like my main focus. It used to be all that I talked about because that's what matters most to me. That's what everything is about. That's the journey. That's literally the journey of the human experience, is to come into alignment with who your soul wanted to be and express as, right? But as my post, and if you haven't read my post from yesterday, I think it's called The Lie of Alignment, or The Illusion of Alignment. And that's the thing, is that with alignment, you only need to know what the next best step is. And once you are so connected to your vision and the steps to making that vision a reality and really understanding where you are so that you can close that gap, then we create a strategy together that's in aligned with how your magic wants to show up, so that you don't feel like you're having to submit to these dead formulas and strategies that don't make room and don't compensate for who you are and who your gifts are and how they need to show up and how they need to be seen. So then, instead of working about all this stuff and learning all this stuff and wasting all this time on different modules and learning all this different things, you are only focused on the one thing that's going to get you to the next step. And then when we get through that step, we focus on the next thing to get you to the next step. Doesn't that feel so much easier? So I wanted to share this because so many of you are here. So many of you have all this stuff waiting for you, and you're so freaking close, and you're making this big army, and you're like, oh my God, there's all these things I have to do. You're feeling overwhelmed, you're making it a problem, and you're looking for more stuff. Even when you receive, I see you. This is just human nature, and it's definitely the nature of women. We receive the one answer and we're like, oh, wow. And then we keep looking for more and more answers, and we keep asking for more and more answers and ideas and inspiration. And then we're overwhelmed with the amount of practices and instructions and inspiration and ideas, instead of just trusting the next best step and going forward. That's why I specialize in helping women not just trust themselves, but to create a framework that's aligned with their magic that they can trust and believe in. So that's what I do with you one-on-one, is I help you unkink that hose so that all of that goodness, juicy, yummy stuff that's already in your frequency, that you already have access to without needing to change yourself and do all this radical ish, so that you can unkink the hose and it can flood your way. Then you can finally be getting paid to do what you love, so that you can have financial freedom while making an impact, while making the contribution that you've always dreamed of making to society. So anywho, my one-on-one's open. That's what I do. That's why I've changed what I do, so that now my students, instead of just learning a bunch of stuff, though they can, because they have access to all my stuff. So if they want to play there, they can. I'm concerned about helping you take the action so that your life can literally change and you can speed up your timeline. Okay, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I'd love your comments about my artwork. Did it help you? Did you like it? Do you want more of my artwork? You can let me know. Okay, all right.
Namaste, aloha.